Hey all of you, hope you guys are great. So in the last video we have built a basic model which can allow us to track the error which is coming on the base of the ID in our API. Okay, so if you haven't watched, I'll link in the I or in the description so you guys can follow that. And here we're going to continue where we left in the last video. Okay, so I can come here and all I have to do is, here we are back in control error. Okay, and here we're going to write more code to handle more error. Okay, so earlier we have talked about the errors, that there is a two type of error in our API. One, the error which is created by the user, and the other error will happen because of the software which we are using to build this API. Okay, so we have to differentiate between the programming error, user error. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, is because we don't need to show all the error message which is happening in our API. So sometime what happened, that because of some Mongoose internal server we are getting an error, so we don't want to display those sensitive data to our user. Okay, we want to hide those data and we want to display only meaningful data, meaningful error message which they want to know. Okay, so that's the one thing we're going to do here. So here we're going to take a if statement and say process.env, and in that we have accessed the environment variable. Okay, so node dash environment. So if an error is happening in the development, okay, because we are in development, so we have to get all the error for the API, so we can easily able to find that this is the error happening because of this, so we can easily able to fix. So okay, so this error, okay, and in this we're going to define all the property which we want to take, and we'll say if the process.env is productions, then we want to display different error messages. Okay, I'll simply cut this and I'm going to paste right up here. Simply cut this and paste right up here. Okay, so this is for the development, but in development we need more information. Okay, so right now we are sending only status and message, but we need more information. So what I can do, I can come here and I want to display the error dot, let's say entire error stack, okay, object, and I want to display also the stack where the error is happening, error dot stack. Okay, so these are the information I want to display in the development mode. Okay, so because we are in development and we want to change this, the error message in the production. So what I can do, I can simply remove this because I don't want to show the sensitive information about the API. So only error status and only status message. Okay, hope you guys have understood. Wait, pause the video, try to understand that what we are doing. Let me repeat one more time. We are differentiating two different types of error, one production, one programming. Will display different message for the users when they cause any error, but if any error happen in our API due to the programming, we have to display different messages, okay, for the developers. Okay, so that's what we have. This is a simple if statement we have written. Okay, but simply copy this and comment this, because this is copy this and cut this, I don't want to remove, and let's paste it here. I'll say, and now what we're going to do, we're going to convert this development and production into a separate function, because we need to add a lot of things into our process.env if statement. Okay, and that's pretty simple. We'll come here and we'll take a, let's say, another function. We'll say const and send error dev. Okay, this is for the development, and in that we will have access to request, error and response, and we can simply cut and paste, or simply call this function here, and then we have to pass error and response. Okay, so that's how we can use it, and simply copy and paste and do this same thing for the production, and simply copy and paste here, and that we have to call the function here, error and response. So hope this makes sense to all of you. So we have this modules, functions, and here, so these are the things we have here. Now let's come here and we're going to take this if statement. Okay, so there are certain error we have to mark it operational. Okay, so we're going to write this error dot is operational is true. Okay, if it's true, then we want to do this. Okay, if the error is created by the user, then only display this error message. Else, we'll add a else block as well, else, and we'll say request dot status, and in that we're going to say this server 500. Okay, and in that we're going to send this response. Status is going to be, let's say, error, and the message is going to be something like we have to say something went very wrong. Okay, so let me tell you what we are doing once again. So when there is an error caused by the user, we are checking for that, then we want to display this message for the user. But if there is a problem in our background, in our softwares which we are using for build this application, so okay, in such scenario we have to display this message to the client, error and something went very wrong, server error. Okay, so this is the common error message you will find whenever any server error issue happen. This is the message you will find. Okay, so that's the same structure we are following here. Okay, simple if statement, which will help us to display two different messages. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Hope these things are making sense to all of you guys. Now what we can do here, and now we can test this out. So you can see everything's working fine. You can simply copy this and come here, and we're going to paste it here. And as you can see, let's give this wrong route. And if I make a request, okay, why it's stuck? Okay, I forgot to add the middleware. Okay, so let's come here, and here I have to call this next, so it can go to the next function. Okay, and now it will work. Simply come here and make a request, and here you can see I'm getting this weird error message. This is not what I wanted. Okay, I know why it's happening. Okay, I know why it's happening. So this is not the error which we want. We want to have a proper error message which we have designed. Okay, we are getting all the error message for the same. Okay, so this is the error message we are getting. So to fix this, all we have to do is to come back to the package.json file, and here we have to define explicitly. I don't know why it's happening. So because we have to define explicitly, we'll say, so this is the start script, this is a production script, and this is the debug script. And what we're going to do now in the start script, we're going to define this, copy this one, and simply paste here, and we can call this. So before we do that, let me show you something. Let's come here, and you can see this is the route we have entered. And if I come here, if I comment this out, console.log process.n.node.n. Okay, so if I try to find out the data of this, so here you can see we are in this development server.js, but we want only development, and that's what we have defined in our .env file. Okay, so we want to display only development, but not server.js. Okay, so that's we have to fix, and that's a very easy one. Let's come back to the package.json, and here we're going to simply copy this, and we're going to say explicitly that we want only development. Okay, this will become development, and now we have to simply restart the application. So let's scroll down, and we have to copy and paste. Make sure to have the sim spelling, and now we're going to restart the server. Okay, so npm start, and here you can see, boom, we are in development. It's showing display perfectly. And now we can check. If we come back here, and if we make a request right now, we'll find that we get all the error. Okay, so if I make a request, boom, and here you can see we are getting all the error: status code, message, entire error object, and the entire call stacks, because right now we are in the development mode, so we are getting all the information of that particular error. Okay, so let's now, you can see it's looking perfect. So this is the dev entire data we are trying to access, and that's all we are getting: status, message, error, and the stack. That's what we have here. Okay, and now we can easily able to access all this data to display different and variety type of messages based on the request. Okay, so we have this beautiful all the data. If we do this for the post, we can easily able to get all the information, validation, error, and looks pretty good. And sometimes what happened that you will have more than one error object. Okay, so we'll go to talk about it. If you do with this delete one, still we are getting all this data. Beautiful. Okay, same thing for the singularity. You can see, beautiful, we are getting all the data. So looks pretty good. Everything is working fine. We can easily able to see all the error message which is happening in our API. Come here, and let me bring this down, and here we're going to do a certain things. Okay, so let's come here, and here we can say if error.name, because we have the access of error object, and we try to access the name of the error. Okay, so if it's cast error, so let me show you where we have the cast error. You can see this is the entire error object we have, and we have the message name, string value, kind value, and the path. We have the status code, we have this status. Okay, so this is the name we have. Okay, name is equal to cast error. Okay, so this is what we are targeting. If it's that, then we want to display different message. Okay, so let's come here. We're going to mark this. We're going to take this entire error object, and I'm going to create one more function called handle cast error. Okay, so this will handle the error which is coming, and in that we're going to pass the error, so we can receive that. And it's always not a good idea that you should directly manipulate the entire error object, so we're going to create a copy of it. Okay, so it's very easy. We'll take this error, and we're going to use this deconstructor to create a copy, and now we're going to use this data. Okay, not the original error object. So we'll simply change this error, and that's what we're going to send here in the response as well. Okay, so let's close all this one, and now let's create the function for that. So it will receive this path. We have access to the path and the message we're going to display. Okay, so we have this error, and we're going to say const message template literal invalid, and we have the access of entire error object. We'll pass this, let's say, path. So this is the path we have, and now we have to pass the simple value. Okay, so entirely dot value, and that's the message we're going to display, and then we're going to send this return, this response back to the client. Okay, so we're going to use this app error class. You can see how easy it become to you send the error to the centralized error place, because we have the app error class and we can utilize it over and over again. So we're going to say app error, and we have to import it. It will automatically get imported, and simply cut and paste here. Okay, and in that we're going to send this message, and we have to send the status code, which is a 404, actually 400, because it's a wrong data. Okay, so that's the error message we have, and here we can come and we have the caster data and looking everything's fine, and simply copy this error, and here we have to change this. Okay, it's error, not only err, and now this will work fine. So everything's working fine in the terminal, you can see. Now what we can do, now I'm going to create a production error. Okay, because we have seen the development, and now let's create a production error, the error which is created by the user. Okay, so let's start the server in production mode. So npm run start prod. This will initialize the production. You can see here we are in production, in development, and now if I make a request, I'll get different error message. Okay, so let me show you. Right now we have this error, and here you can see in the production we'll get this error message, fail, invalid ID, and the ID name. Okay, that looks pretty good. If you type this number, hit a request, you'll get this. Okay, so this is a very user friendly and readable error message we can display to the users. Okay, so that looks perfect, and there is multiple way to do this. Okay, multiple way. This is not the only way you can handle error. You can do in many ways. Coding is unlimited. The fail message we have now, if I make a request, I'll get the same error. Okay, now we have to add a functionality for the data validation. Okay, so you can see here we are in NFT in the post NFT, and if I want to create an NFT, I'll get this error message, server error, something went wrong. Okay, so when someone provides some kind of wrong information in our NFT, so we have to target that error as well. Okay, so this is the error we have displaying right now, but we're going to fix this. Okay, so let's take this ID and make it up and come back here. So we're going to first come back to the development. Okay, we can come back to the development, and I can show you the entire error message, and here you can see we have the entire error message. So it's a validation error. Okay, it's a validation error. When someone try to create a NFT, it's a validation error, and it says that its rating is above 5, so we can make it below 5, and if we try to create an NFT, I'll get success. Okay, so now we can create, and now you can see again it's getting a duplicate error, so we have to trigger the event on the base of this. So it's a validation error. Okay, so this is the code we have, and that's what we're going to target. Okay, and this code is represent that for the creating a new document, and that's what we're going to target. So we'll cite another if statement, simply replicate that, and we'll say code, and we'll type the entire code, and again we have to create a new function for this as well. So we're going to change the name is to DB, and this will call handle duplicate fields. Okay, for handling duplicate keys. Okay, now we have to write this if statement and say same thing we have to do. We have to take the variable, we have access to the error object, we'll say fail valid, and we can say please use another key, valid field. Okay, and here you can see that in the error message we are getting this long string, but we want to only find the name they have provided. Okay, the name they have provided, and here you can see we have this ERRMSG, and that we have the data of the name which we have provided, but how we can easily able to extract that name only, because it's a long string. We don't want to display the long string, we want to display only the name which they have provided. So we're going to use the match operator here. Okay, so we have to find another way. So let's come back, open up your browser, and here we're going to type something like regular expression in JavaScript. So regular expression match between quotes. Okay, so this is what we go to search and hit enter. The first is the Stack Overflow, so click here, and Here you can see we have all the result which we can utilize, but this one is looks good. It has 10 upvotes, so I'm going to use this expression. Okay, so simply select this one, and what we can do, let's come back to the code, and now we're going to use that. Okay, we're going to use that match expression to find out the match. Okay, simple JavaScript, nothing complicated. We call it value, and here we're going to take this error object and we'll pass this error msg, because this is the string on which we have to try to match. Okay, and we'll call this match, and in that we're going to paste the entire expressions. Okay, we have the entire expression, we have this error.message looking fine. Now you can see this is what we have here. Now we're going to do magic with this. So let's come here, and here we're going to simply do console.log to find out that what exactly data we are getting. Okay, so let's come here and let me go back into the production mode. Okay, here we are back in production mode, and if I make a request, but this is not what we are interested, just forget out for time being. We can come back in our terminal, and here you can see we get this entire object back. Okay, in the value we are getting all these object back. So we have this name, we have the index, we have the import, we have the group. Okay, so we have this object, so we want to access the first one, and this, it will come in the form of array, so we can easily be able to access with the, okay, we want to access the name, and that's what we're going to display here. So bring the terminal down, and here what we're going to do, we can take this return, and we want to return the error message. Okay, so we'll have the error message, and in that we'll type this 400. Okay, very simple. Hope you guys have understood. And here I'm going to display the message. Okay, so value, which is the exact error message. So if I make a request, I'll get the message, exact message which I want to display. So message status is going to be fail, message is duplicate, failed value, and this is the name they have provided, and they have to change this one. Okay, so right now you can see we are getting this user friendly error message for the duplicate field. In this way you can add many middleware. If you try the right, it will have a success, but if you will try one more time, you can see we are getting this error. Okay, things are looking pretty good. I hope things are making sense to all of you guys. You are understanding what we are doing. And now we have to create one more for the validation. Okay, we have done for the fields, we have done for the cast error, and now we have to do for the validation. So let me change to the simply development, because we can have to see the error message. So here we are back in development. If I make a request, you can see I get all the error message. Okay, and if I scroll down, if I make a request, if I try to provide something rating something like 6, so I'll get an error, and this error will become the validation error. You can see NFT validation failed. Okay, we got this validation error, and the name is also validation error, you can see, and that's what we're going to target. So we're going to simply copy that, and we'll come back here in the code, and we have to write the same if statement. We'll say name, and this will come what call, it's called validate error, and we're going to call this error. We have this handle validate error, and in that we have to pass the error object, and now we have to create this function. Simply copy and come here and create the function. Same structure we have to follow. In this way you can add multiple parameters. Okay, multiple error handler. Okay, so we have to access the message, so we'll say invalid input data, and the data we can easily able to access in this. Okay, so the data we have in here, this is 5. Okay, if I make the price, let's say 50. Okay, if I make a discount price is 500, so you can see we can have multiple error message. Okay, you can see this is the one we have rating, and one we have for the price. Okay, and you will have a multiple object. Okay, so one error object you will get for the rating, one object you will get for the pricing. Okay, so as many validation error you will have, the more you will get an error object, and each error object will contain information for one validation error. Okay, so this is for the discount, this is for the rating. Okay, hope things are making sense to all of you. Now we're going to utilize this information, and we're going to do something magic. Okay, so what we can do, we can come here and we can take a variable const, and we can say error. Now we have multiple errors, multiple validators. Okay, so we're going to take this object dot values, and we're going to use this error. We have the access of the error, and we'll say errors. Okay, we try to access this entire error object, which we have inside this error. Okay, so we'll have all these. Okay, and we're going to call this simply, we're going to call this map function element, and we want to handle the error message as well. Okay, so we want to extract the error message from this entire error. Okay, so we have access to that error message, and now we're going to display the same message here. So this will fix the problem error, and we'll join them by space dot. Okay, so this will make them a space, and that's it. And now we have to return this to our app error class message, and we have to send the status goes to 400, and this will work fine. Okay, let me remind what we have done. We have taken the entire object, then we are looping over it, and we are extracting the only error messages from all the objects, and we are joining them by dot and space and displaying back. Okay, so to see that in action, we have to change our environment. So we're going to go back into the production. Okay, so we can display the proper error message. Okay, now if we make a request, we'll have this valid information about the error. Okay, so we have data input, invalid rating, and we have the discount price. Okay, so this is also looking fine. So now the user can know that, okay, they have provided the wrong price and they have provided the wrong rating, and this validation will work for everything. So if you remove this summary, which is a mandatory field they have to provide, we'll have another field will get added to this. Okay, so right now you can see must provide the summary, must have rating. So we'll have all the invalid data field. Okay, we can easily able to display all the messages. If we remove the price, we can have the validation error one more time. You can see price is also get included into this, so this will automatically keep including. Okay, so hope this makes sense to all of you. You guys have understood that how we can easily able to display the validation error, wrong route error, and other errors as well. Okay, so hope things are making sense to all of you. These are the very important concept you have to understand, and you can add multiple if statement here. Okay, so if you want to handle different types of error, you can build this if statement and you can display that. Okay, there's no problem in this. So that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. Hope you guys have found this video valuable. If you have still any confusion, any doubt, do leave in the comment section. I'll try to help you in that. And in the next 2 videos, we're going to talk about more error handling. Okay, after that we're going to build on the authentication section. So let's move to the next video.